I'd like to call this December 18, 2024 Finance Committee to order. If I could, Katrina, Madam Clerk, would you please call roll?
Mr. Smith.
Here.
Ms. Tanner. Here. Mr. Impastato. Mr. Burke.
Here.
Mr. Lachlan.
Here.
Mr. Corbin.
Here.
And Mr. Strickland.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Good deal. First thing we're going to do is review the monthly finance reports generated by the Finance Department. Secondly, we'll review the proposed finance ordinances and resolutions on the January 9, 2025 council meeting agenda. If I could ask Ms. Leslie Long to go ahead and review the finance agenda, starting with the monthly reports.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
In front of you is our monthly report for the, which includes two documents. One is a collections report for sales tax in Sales Tax District 3. It compares monthly for the years of 22, 23, and 24, and shows you how much that changes by month for the current year versus last year. Year to date, the percent increase over last year is 1.83%, which is $1.1 million. And this is a Sales Tax District 3 funds roads, bridges, and drainage. And we have 2 more months of collections, for this fiscal year. The next report is the budget to actual report, and this is as of the month ending November 30th, 2024, which is about just over 90% of the year we're at now. And you'll see throughout the report, we have not accrued ad valorem taxes yet. Those were just billed by the sheriff's office, our tax collector, and the payments are due by December 31st. So those will appear as an accrual in the December report for the year. Some of the things that we're producing this about a week earlier than we normally do, so we haven't done a lot of analysis yet, but some of the things that we'll be looking at are the larger departments, Department of Public Works, utilities. We're noticing that in the development department, the revenue from residential and commercial permits is down maybe about 5% for the year, a couple $100,000, but we're hoping that when we see the December numbers, some of that will be made up. Some of that revenue. So if anyone has any questions, they can, I know we just distributed it 2 nights ago. So if you have any questions, you can contact our office, or if you have some today, I can answer them now.
Okay. I think we do have Ms. Tanner?
Mm-hmm. The planning department, 5%, will that impact the budget? Or is there room in the budget for that?
So that's what we're analyzing it. It may impact the beginning fund balance for 2025. But
will Ross get a paycheck the end of December or not?
Everyone's going to get paid.
Okay, so we're good then. All right. See? I care about you.
I have one more. Councilman Corbin?
Yeah, Leslie, on page 1, I was noticing the 1 of 13, the grants reimbursable. Given that we're at the end of the year, is there a reason that's running so far behind?
I'd have to, is Jean here? Okay.
It's on now.
Yeah.
That's behind this year. It'll probably stay lower this year than other years. Most of that is tied to FEMA disaster work, and so we've had several of those projects on hold this year. So we can't draw reimbursables from those until the projects move forward. Okay. And some of them will not move forward, and some of them will move forward next year. It just depends on, we're still waiting on FEMA. FEMA is in a hold pattern. They are prioritizing on generators and the Swift Current grant, and then they're going to move back to reviewing bigger disaster projects after that.
So do you think this will change substantively before the end of the year, or
it will not change
insignificantly?
Insignificantly.
All right, thank you.
I mean, I don't exactly know off the top of my head what the number is now, but I know it's lower than most other years. We do have some billing to do for the end of the year, but it won't change dramatically.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Tanner?
Sean,
Sean?
have we contacted our Congress or delegation in Washington DC?
We've talked to them, and there has been some movement. We have a meeting with FEMA to go over specifically some of the their concerns, so that we're not going through GOSEP to get the answers. So we are scheduling that meeting. It's probably going to be after the first of the year, but it's in the process of being scheduled, so we can talk to them directly. And I think it's going top down, and then we're doing our part in scheduling the meetings.
I mean, if we have to call our delegation once a week to say, hey, we haven't heard from FEMA, I think we should do it.
Oh, no, absolutely. No, I have talked to Senator Cassidy's office about
Have
it.
you talked to Senator Kennedy,
I have not talked to Senator Kennedy, but I have talked
Steve
to Senator.
Scalise? Have you talked to the entire, has anybody talked to our entire
I have not talked to the
delegation?
entire delegation, but I can prepare something for them. But Senator Cassidy's office has helped us to get a meeting with FEMA, and they're talking to them, and then we are also requesting the direct meeting with FEMA, which is a big deal. Usually we have to go through GOSEP, and so we've gone to the higher levels of GOSEP to make sure that we can have a direct conversation with FEMA, and that we're not playing this game of information feeding through the state to get to the federal level. And that's, I think, a big portion of what's going on right now, to be honest.
All right, because Senator Kennedy lives
Absolutely.
in
No, I
Madisonville.
know.
I mean,
No,
You know,
I know that. And so we can talk to them, and I'll
Okay.
keep you in the loop on
Okay.
that as we move it
all
forward.
right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilman Phillips?
Leslie, I just real quick, I was looking at the year-to-date, 2022 to 2023.
Sales tax.
Yeah, and then this is on page 1.
Yes,
and,
sir.
It decreased, and then it jumped up again in 24. I just wanted to know if there was is there an anomaly in there somewhere that took place?
Not that I recall. I mean, we did have the remote sellers came into play in, I think it was in 2022. And sometimes it's just a matter of timing. If you go down a little further and you look at the total for the year, it was almost even. It was only down $300,000 last year, from 75.9 million to 75.6. So sometimes it just may depend on when the business itself files its return and pays the taxes. So.
Okay, thank you.
And there was one more thing I was going to update y'all on, just because of the discussion with GOSEP or FEMA. Previously we've discussed the timing of receipt of reimbursements for claims that have been submitted. So with regard to the water sector claims, we're getting paid now probably within 30 days of filing a claim. So, and then also GOSEP, which at one point we were up to, I think, almost $2.7 million in receivables. We're down to about $350,000 right now. So they made a big effort to review our claims and get us paid. So,
Good.
yeah.
Mr. Corbin?
There we go. Thanks, Rick, or thanks, Chairman. On page 3, Jay, I got some questions for you. It looks like we're running behind on maintenance barns activity, Tammany trace maintenance, and engineering. I didn't know if those going to be able to move those forward or up, or is there something that's
We have $3.5 million still available, so you only have 65% spent. So I had a lot more like being covered.
Yeah, I know with the Tammany Trace, we've got a project that's, it got started later on in the year for asphalt work, under 100,000, that maintenance money. So it might just be that the majority of the work is still happening right now, so the money hasn't been spent yet.
okay?
And I was going to tell you that we're going to drill down on every line item like we did a couple months ago with Jay, so we can show you in every line item which ones are underspent right now.
Okay.
Okay, so do we expect this to catch up before the end of the year? And it's just there's some maybe a lag in
I don't think
encumbering?
it's gonna all get spent,
Yeah,
but
he doesn't expect his entire budget to be spent.
No, I understand that, but
I don't know about the work that's encumbered. They have what, like $2.8 million encumbered right now of work. A lot of it in the barns, 2.1 of that is just in the barns. So for those projects under 100, so.
Okay.
But I don't know when, I can look at, we can see when they're encumbered and whether or not. So what will happen is if it's not spent, the open POs, we will increase this 2025 budget for
Right.
the POs that were open at year end.
Okay, thank you. All right, thanks, Jay.
Sir.
Okay, seeing no other questions, Leslie, thank you, and if you would, continue.
So now the ordinances that were pulled at agenda review, the first ordinance, calendar 7784, is the ordinance for the 2025 grants budget. This is for 5 awards that we've recently received. They total over $5.2 million. It includes a small award, $3,000 from Best Friends Animal Society, $583,000 for the Community Service Block Grant Award for the year, $1.5 million in LAHEAP funding, that's for energy assistance. There's almost $3 million from GOSEP for 11 elevations, and the DOTD Mass Transit Program is $76,000. That's used in our transit system. We use it for matches.
Mr. Corbin?
There we go. Hey, do we know where those 11 home raisings, is that targeted across, is that across the whole parish, or is there specific neighborhoods?
There's a list of addresses, which it's not included here, but that Jean, or we can provide to you.
Just generally, Jean, do you know?
Jean might know.
Do you know where those 11 roughly are? Is that distributed widely across the parish or focused in specific areas?
It's the majority of the elevations that we do are on the east side of the parish, but there is a handful that are going to be like in Madisonville, I think, in this grant. I don't know the specific addresses in this one, but generally this is one of our competitive grants, and so generally speaking, it's most damaged, the ones that have the most losses first, and that would be on the east side of the parish. So I would say most likely French Branch is definitely included in this one.
Would it be possible to get a list of
Absolutely.
addresses in District 13? Thank you.
Yes, I'll give you the specific addresses, but
Thank you
that would
very
be my general guess, is that the majority of them are on the inside L.
Perfect. Thank you.
Unincorporated side L.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so 8 of the 11 elevations are severe repetitive loss structures, so with the other 3 being just repetitive loss structures. So.
Gotcha.
The next ordinance that was pulled was ordinance calendar 7785. It is the second amendment to the 2025 capital budget. It's for our utility system. This is for the LA 1088 corridor sewer force main and lift station. It's for $4 million. And this is being funded $3 million through a state grant and $1 million, which is the 25% match from utility system revenues.
Yeah.
The next ordinance that was pulled was ordinance calendar 7786, which is Amendment 3 to the capital budget. It is for the Department of Public Works and is for the purchase. It is to name the fixed asset to be purchased, an excavator, $570,000. And this is a spider machine for the drainage work that Department of Public Works does.
Councilman Corbin?
Yeah, Jay, what's the time from placing an order to receipt of this?
I was told the lead time is about 4 months.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Councilman Kugel?
So this is something we do not currently have that we're going to purchase?
So we have, we started the year with 3 spiders. We had kind of a catastrophic failure on one of the spiders. The frame broke and it was surplused earlier this year. So we currently have 2 spiders. Both of them have been in the shop since August with various repairs. One of them we actually went to go pick up yesterday and they had to do 1 or 2 more things on it. We should be picking it up this afternoon. So
These blowout help, these is another way of blowing out drains, or what?
no, they're it's like a walking excavator. It's a really kind of specialized piece of machinery that it gets into narrow drainage laterals that we can't fit just a regular excavator into.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Is it Roland? I didn't see him up here.
That's me.
Oh, gotcha. Arthur?
Yeah, Jay, if you wouldn't mind, do we have enough, the question, I'll set you up early while you're walking up. Do we have enough money to buy 2 of these?
I would have to.
I'm sure so.
Yeah, because I mean, I understand these come from Europe. They're very specialized. It's like buying a Ferrari. You know, I think we should really consider buying a second one, especially with the 4-month lag time from ordering to delivery.
I would agree.
Yeah, maybe like David said, maybe we get 2 for 1. You know. Yeah, the shipping cost alone.
I'm not on this committee, but my barn people have specifically requested that if this came up, that it's something, I can't explain how they work in my area. They're fabulous. And this is something, because we have all these little tributaries and stuff, the big machines can't get in, that this spider machine is special. So, yes, let's order 2. Okay?
Can Mary or Emily,
Thank you.
can we make that happen for the next meeting?
Say that.
We would amend at introduction on
Okay.
next week.
Okay.
Councilman Corbin.
Jay, what's the service life on these things? Expected service life?
So I think we've gotten between 7 to 12 or 13 years out of them. They're not made to be in the wet conditions that we have them in, but they do function well. They're made to be on like the side of a mountain to be able to articulate the legs and the wheels to hold them in a certain spot. But we've been getting about a decade out of them.
Okay. That'd be something that you ought to look at, I think, as just an ongoing replacement plan looking forward, especially if they're as valuable as you're saying, that we just plan for that expenditure at a regular return rate.
For sure, and we kind of had been doing that, but we moved to a marsh buggy. We ended up purchasing, we have 3 marsh buggies in our fleet now, and we went in thinking that maybe the marsh buggy would be able to be a replacement for the spider, but they kind of do 2 separate things. And the marsh buggy's been great to have, but the spider still, we find that we can't really live without it.
For
So,
special need, it's what's
correct.
required.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, no more questions. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
Ms. Long?
Ordinance calendar 7787 is Amendment 2 to the 2025 operating budget, and this is the funding for the funding for the walking excavator and for the 25% match for the utility system. So we'll have to amend this one as well at the meeting next week, to increase the amount of the funding for that walking excavators.
Understood.
Not next week.
Next month.
It is next month? Okay. Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Holidays.
You're not retired. Not yet. So I feel like it, don't I? No. Okay. Ordinance calendar 7788 is the 4th amendment to the 2025 capital budget. This is for the St. Tammany Parish Coroner's Office using the dedicated tax. It is for engineering, design, and construction of a new chiller addition at their building, $525,000. So the ordinance 7788 is for the project itself, and then ordinance 7789, I think it might be misnumbered. Anyway, the next operating budget amendment number 3 is for the funding of the 525 from the coroner's fund. And these are for funds that we have on deposit here at the parish.
Gotcha. See no questions. Is that the last one?
That was the last one,
Okay.
yes. I'm sorry.
Okay. Thank you. Now, seeing no other questions, I would entertain a motion. Who's on that? Who just said that? He's on it. He's on it. So moved. Do I have a second? Second. Oh, and do I have to ask for nays?
Yeah.
All in favor? All in favor? All against, opposed? Good deal. May I also have a motion to adjourn? This meeting is adjourned, and thank you, Leslie. You've been terrific working with this committee the whole year. Appreciate you. Thank you. Everybody have a good Christmas.